Sorry, I had to cut it short. My kids were messaging me. They do that a lot. We spend a lot of time on the computer. It's kind of nice just hanging out with them like that. I love my grandkids. Anyway, a friend said to me, you know, every time you talk about your kids, you end up crying. I think you have empty nest syndrome. I'm like, no, my kids are 14 and 17. I'm too young to have empty nest syndrome, but I realized I really did. It was awful. I was just so sick about not having my kids around. Anyway, so the next year they offered me a position at Freedom High School. I was going from bottom rung on the totem pole at Liberty, and trust me, it was bottom rung. It was such a shit gig. Oh my God. Yeah, I had 3 different classrooms, 4 different classrooms and 3 different subjects the first year, and not a lot of support. But anyway, it was a hard year. So anyway, Judy Reagan asked me if I want to come to Freedom High School, and I'm like, oh, okay, you sure you want it, hippie chick? She goes, the hippie chick is exactly what we want. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So I went from bottom rung on the totem pole to the only person in the art department. So that was very liberating, and I enjoyed that. But I was still really new at teaching, and we still had a big group of kids who didn't really want to be a part of the school. All their friends were at Liberty, and they had different rules. They could wear hats. And you guys, whoever is listening to this, who remembers all this, you guys weren't allowed to wear hats, and we enforced it. And they were like, enforce this rule. Oh, so we did. But it just kind of became this weird power battle. So anyway, in the middle of that year, so fall of that year, is when I had this horrible breakup. On top of empty nest and the tough job, I had somebody walk back into my life and tell me, here's why I'm rejecting you, because you're not an artist. I was devastated. And this was somebody I was fantasizing about having a family with. We had talked about having a family. Anyway, it was heartbreaking. So the year you guys gave me that Teacher of the Year, and that was a Student Choice Teacher of the Year, that wasn't anything from the district, I was nursing a broken heart. I had a terrible broken heart. And it was so bad that I think for all of November and December, it was a good 2 months, I just cried. And the only time I didn't cry was between, 7:30 in the morning till 3:15. I had to hold it together. And I did, I think. But I really just, when I was there and I was teaching, it was just a brief respite from just the heartache of my life. And I wanted to have a good time and with the kids. And we did. And I'm pretty sure I used my curriculum, but we also did things like take the Papasan chair, the basket for the Papasan chair, put it on the middle of the table, put 2 kids on the long side of the table. I still have those tables. Well, David Godier has those tables. We still have the original tables. We put the Papasan in the middle, 2 kids on the long end, and 1 kid on each short end. And we put a kid in the middle in the Papasan chair, and we just spin the shit out of him. We were all laughing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if admin walks in and they're going to be, what part of the curriculum is this? I'm like, that's the have fun part of the curriculum. Anyway, they would not have approved, I'm sure, but we had fun. We had art club after school, and I got to watch Ravi Rangi. There was, during our after school time, during art club, Ravi Rangi jumped up on a chair and just squealed because there was a mouse on the floor. I will never, ever forget that. Oh my God, it was adorable. Ravi, I love you so much. So anyway, then it took months for them to get the actual campus open, but they finally opened it, and we all moved, and I taught in room H101 or H100. It was a science room. And, I was the only dog. And it was great. We had no money for supplies. The school was flooding all the time. The lights would go out. They gave us flashlights. I still think I have that damn flashlight, this big battery-powered flashlight, because they got tired of closing school, and they said, just turn the flashlight on, teach in the dark. Anyway, no supplies. We had paper, we had magazines, we had glue, we had mat board, and I had some old calendar from Impressionists. So anyway, hold that thought. I'm going to get the artwork that we did. So I think I went to Rayleigh's, and I got the produce, what are they, cardboard cartons that hold apples, because they're kind of spaced far apart. I brought a bunch of those in, and we tore up magazines and had everybody organize their magazine pieces by color, which is not that easy because when they flip over, there's a different color. But we made, these are old, you guys, they're so old. This is Elliot Jose Enger. I'm sorry, I don't remember who that is. But here's one. Not bad, huh? This is literally the very first Freedom High School art project. Of course, I just saved the best ones. And this is, I cannot tell, but somebody can claim it if they want to. But aren't they beautiful? Old magazines, glue, mat board, and a calendar. So anyway, I think I proved to be a somewhat resourceful person, and we got through the year, and I had a great, I just loved the people that I worked with. Kevin Allen, Rick Dunn, Jill Johnson. There were so many great people. Dana Johnston came on, and God, what a great group of people. But I was really, that year was a hard year for me. Dana Johnson remembers we did a performance right before fall break, and I had all my girls in these African grass skirts that we handmade ourselves, and we did, I think we performed, what did we perform? Zebula, I think. Either Zebula or Pan Logo. I taught that to everybody. And it was the assembly at the end of the day, and the bell rang, and we were all going to go to fall break, and everybody was like, "Wee, fall break!" And I'm like over in the gym, kind of cleaning up the grass skirts and getting everything together, and I'm starting to get choked up because it's 3:15. It's time to cry. And Dana Johnson comes up to me, and she says, "Are you okay?" And I'm, "No." "What's going on?" I'm like, I got nothing. I got no one to go home to. It's just, life is really hard right now. Anyway, we got through the year. And at the end of it, for some reason, you organized yourselves and you gave me Teacher of the Year. And maybe at first I thought I didn't deserve it, but I think to my credit, I just tried to be real. I didn't try to be anybody I wasn't. I mean, I was definitely holding it together, but I was so grateful for the time to hold it together. And I was so grateful to hang out with so many great people. Sorry, I don't remember their names. I will at some point. Contact me and we'll reminisce, because that's what we old people do. And by the way, this is yerba mate. I've been drinking it for years. So anyway, that's my 1996-97 Teacher of the Year plaque. And you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm on the videos all the time. I'm not doing Zoom. Thank the Lord Jesus, I'm not doing Zoom. But I would love to see some familiar faces. I realize that during this pandemic, that's what I miss the most, is during a day, I would see 100, 200 familiar faces. And hey, hi, you know, passing people in the halls and seeing the same kids every other day. And there was just something very nourishing about that I miss. I mean, I don't miss the 200 kids. It's way too many people for one human being to keep track of. It's just too much. It's just too much. But I did it for 25 years. And then my body said, hello, you got to stop doing that. So I've always really thought that I was listening to my body. And I was. I knew I wasn't doing well. Anyway, it was just time for whatever reason. And here I am, retired, struggling a little bit. It was a very intense surgery, and I'm, I have the analogy of a butterfly, where when a caterpillar puts itself into a chrysalis, it digests itself and turns into goo. And all they have left inside that chrysalis is these, they call them imagery discs, but it's basically some couple these discs in this goo that turn into the butterfly. And chemo was definitely, it turned me to goo. And I'm still climbing out of that, and I'm not out of it completely. I have a left leg that is the boss all day and all night. And I have to reoccupy my body. It's a very different body. So, thanks for letting me tell my story. I don't know who's going to watch this, but I hope somebody does. I miss you. Let me see your faces. It was so nice to see Sarah Herring, who's used to be Sarah Osborne. She brought me her. She brought three of her 4 children over, and I gave art lessons to Hunter, who's 6, and Remy, who's 4. And oh my God, you guys! First of all, to see Sarah's face, and to see Hunter, who looks just like Mark, and to have Remy on her way to go pick some corn out of my garden, have her reach up and hold my hand with her little tender 4-year-old hand. I'm telling you what, that's the good stuff. That is the good stuff. And God dang it, I'll die for that if I have to. I mean, I'm doing all the social distancing. The kids are wearing masks when they're with me. We're outside. But I miss those connections, and we human beings need those connections. So I'm going to put an invitation out. Just call me and let me see your face. Call me on FaceTime. I'll pick up if I can. And if I can't, I'll call you later. But I would love to hear from you. I would love to see your face. I think this medium is what we've got now. And I miss you guys. And you're all my family, and you never stop being my kid. You just don't. It doesn't matter when you graduate or how old you are or how many children you have. I just love you guys. Okay. Talk to you later.